Hello humans, this is Retro Rocket Man, back again after a little while with another video. I'm going to paint a water gun that I recently picked up on a trip to Japan, in Tokyo, in a place called Akihabara. It's a pop culture centre in the city, and I managed to find this gun. I've been looking for it for a while. It's quite expensive online, but fortunately I was able to pick it up for 2,200 yen, which in Australian dollars is roughly about $24-25. So I was pretty stoked to find it. This is a water pistol based on the Blade Runner blaster as used by Harrison Ford. It's a 1-to-1 scale, has all the details. The sculpt on it is fantastic. They have not missed a beat on this one. This is made from that clear, transparent plastic that many cheap water guns are made from. So it's materials-wise, it doesn't weigh much at all. Fortunately though, it has all those details that I just love, so that I'm excusing it for that. Probably at the cheaper end of the scale, comparable to a $2.50 water pistol that you might find in a $2 shop or something like that. So that's the disappointing part of it, as you'd expect from a plastic water gun. But what it makes up for is in the detail and the mould. I am going to give it a paint and make it look more like the screen-used gun. I'm going to start by using heaps of masking tape and mask off the handle so it doesn't get covered by any spray paint that I'm going to use as my first coat. I'm going to be using a grey undercoat or primer just to make sure my top coats stick nicely to the gun. So naturally outside, and I'm going to hang it up, and with plenty of ventilation, just give it a liberal coat of primer. I always do this sort of stuff outside because this stuff stinks. So here it is, all primed, handle nice and covered and protected because I don't want to lose that orange plastic grip. Looks more like the screen used gun, and you can see all these lovely details just come out all of a sudden. All the shininess is gone, it's no more transparent plastic. And I've got to spray it again. I won't bore you with the details, but I'm going to be spraying it with a gloss black. And here it is, the first colour coat, and it's a nice shiny finish. It's starting to resemble the actual gun from the movie. And just a couple of coats of gloss black all over, and I will be masking off the parts that I want to keep black, and then I'm going to be spraying it silver. Just masked off those areas that I do not want to paint silver, and the exposed black areas will be painted with the chrome silver because that's the two basic colours of the gun, black and silver. There you go. Lovely silver finish on the barrel, on the trigger guard and the triggers. Starting to really look like the real deal. Just carefully peeling off my masking to reveal the black underneath. Used a tape called frog tape. Gives you a nice clean edge. It's not overly tacky on the gun itself. Unfortunately, on the handle I used a standard masking tape, but because it was just on the plastic, not a big deal. This is a clean version of the PKD Harrison Ford blaster from Blade Runner. But I want to weather this, so I'm going to be painting smaller details to look more like the gun even as it appears today, which has got a fair bit of rust and pitting in the surface of the gun. favourite black shoe polish, just to tarnish down the silver and gives it more character and weight to the plastic. Makes it look more like metal. And simply brushing it on. I'm not going to get too far ahead of myself because I need it to stay wet when I dab it off with a rag. I'm using a dabbing motion because that gives me a pitted, oxidized, weathered finish to the metal, as well as still leaving the black in all those nice crevices and creases and sculpt lines that really make the gun pop. And just applying the same method to other parts of the gun, the trigger guard and the triggers, and just doing a little bit at a time. Don't get too far ahead of myself because I don't want it to dry before I have a chance to remove it. And again, just using a dabbing motion just to remove the excess and get it to the point that I like it. Notice how the sculpted text just pops as soon as I put the black shoe polish on it. It's just amazing how much it makes that silver paint look like metal. Just the weathering process. It's always the fun part because it also means it's the finishing. I'm using a white shoe polish on the grips just to make the texture on the handles pop. It's also how it appears or seems to appear on the original prop, and the white shoe polish just gives it that subtle touch. A couple of coats of this and it looks pretty good. Now I'm going over spots here and there using a brown shoe polish just to weather it a bit more, give it another level of depth, and it emulates rust and pitting on the surface of the gun, and trying to make it look more like the screen used prop as it appears today, quite aged and weathered. Doing a little bit at a time. The beauty about this is if you don't like it, a bit of water will just take it back off again. The gun also has little LED lights on it, so I don't have the luxury of putting LEDs in this, so I'm just painting them, just using a red acrylic, and just these little details that the gun has on it. Gives it that futuristic look. I guess it is from a science fiction film after all, and there's also these little green LED lights on it as well, so I'm painting those. finishing it off with a clear gloss, just to give that extra shine. There you have it, humans. This is my painted finish on a real form water gun that I picked up in Japan from the movie Blade Runner. Hope you liked it. This is Retro Rocket Man, over and out.